Sometimes it really is just the little things that make all the difference. And today we are talking about 7 micro habits that are getting me through the end of 2024. It is the time of year when people, I feel like, tend to just like kind of abandon everything and give up on their goals. And when I say people tend to do this, it is me. Every other year during I feel like the end of October, early November, I just start being like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I haven't really reached the goals that I wanted to do, or I haven't been consistent with my routine. So I'm just going to abandon everything and just let it be. This is my encouragement to you here. What is it? Mid-November, late November, that there is still time. There is still purpose and intention and reason to show up for yourself and for your goals, even though we're at the end of the year. December still takes up 1/12 of the year, guys. It is still, it's important. Obviously, there is so much space and freedom to be able to, make sure that our, routines and our goals and everything for our life, we don't want to make sure those things are ruling our life. So and Christmas is the time of year where it's just you know what, we're going to lay back, we're going to have a little bit of fun. But I'm specifically talking more so to the girls who, are just kind of giving up on everything because there's no point. There's still purpose, there's still a point. And I want you to just end this year feeling confident, feeling your best, feeling rejuvenated, feeling present, and not feel like you're going into the start of a new year just completely chaotic and burnt out. If you haven't listened to the last episode, which was all about staying sane during the holidays, that's going to be more specifically focused on Christmas and just planning for that. So if you haven't listened to that one, I would encourage you to go back. But today we're just going to talk about a few little micro habits. So these are not life-changing things. This is not a full overhaul of my routines, but this is just little things that I'm holding myself accountable to as the year ends, because I know that it's easier for me to kind of get off track and just be it doesn't matter. And I know that when I get like that, I don't feel my best. I'm staying up way too late. I'm spending too much time on my phone and I'm not able to be present. So let's chat about these habits today. Hello and welcome back to Wellness Habits. My name is Victoria Harder. I am a podcast host, wife, mom. I live in beautiful British Columbia. I am a fellow type B ADHD overachieving eldest daughter, and I make content all about relatable lifestyle, realistic productivity, and just overall advice for the everyday girl. Today we're chatting about micro habits and just the 7 of my little habits that I'm working on as we end 2024, because I really want to end 2024 well. I want this year to be the year that I am showing up for myself and not just letting each day be complete chaos. I also just want to say that I am probably going to be doing vlogmas this year. I have done vlogmas for about, I think 5 or 6 years, and me and my husband have vlogged every single day, and it's so much fun. Honestly, we just do it for ourselves because we honestly, when we've done it, we've had not very many subscribers, so but it's been really fun, and I think we're going to do it again this year. So stay tuned for that. If you like watching vlogmas and the nostalgic vibes of vlogmas, that's what we love. So for my habits, the first one, which I feel is anyone can relate to this, is just screen time. And screen time, I feel is always something that I'm battling, but I feel especially during the holiday season, I can get very lax with my screen time and just kind of let myself scroll, especially if I'm not if I don't have as many work tasks or things like that. I can very much just be oh, I'm just going on my phone and just scroll. I really is that the best use of my time? No. And so the thing that I want to be the most aware of is at nighttime. I have been doing a very good job about reading my Kindle before bed basically every night for the last month and a half, and it has changed my life. So one thing I want to say that if you want to apply this to your own life, so a micro habit would be taking your scrolling and just doing one section of your day, replacing it. So for me, I wanted to replace my evening scroll with reading. So before bed, instead of scrolling, I want to be reading my Kindle. So instead of just being oh, I'm not going to scroll at night, I'm just going to lay in bed and fall asleep, I'm replacing my scroll with my Kindle. And that has been such a game changer, and I want to continue that for the end of the year. So that means for me, I need to make sure that my Kindle's charged. I need to make sure I have good books on it. So maybe you want to replace it with like a physical book, so you're always going to have a physical book on your nightstand. Maybe you don't want to scroll, in the mornings, so instead you're going to plug your phone outside of your room so that when you first wake up, you can't scroll. If you do want to replace like scrolling with reading, definitely recommend getting into like a good series or like a good book. I promise you there's something out there for you. If you've been in a reading slump, just keep trying. This is my encouragement to you. Just keep trying until you find something that's really good. And don't worry about it being like not classy enough of a book in terms of like, this is not like something that we're reading for English class. I want you to find something that's like fun for you to read. You don't need to read something that's based on productivity or business or anything like that. Reading doesn't have to be productive. It can just be fun. And that is something that I've had to learn the hard way by just reading business books and nonfiction. And then I got burnt out because I was only reading nonfiction. So find something you love. I've definitely fallen in love with fiction this year. I've read all of the like popular series like Agatar and Iron Flame. What's the first one called? Anyways, Iron Flame. I'm reading Magnolia Parks right now. And just like, it's just so much fun to be able to get into a series. And that's my little tangent on reading. So highly recommend. My second micro habit has been tracking my protein. Again, because of the holiday season, it can be really easy to just like eat not good. And eating something, I want to be like sensitive about how I talk about it. But for me, I know that I feel my best when I'm having enough protein and like there's like sustenance in the food that I'm eating and it's not just like sugar cookies. And so this is a micro habit where I'm making sure that like I'm getting enough protein throughout the day, even on days when like I'm not necessarily eating the best, like I may be with family or we're celebrating or doing something like that. I still want to make sure that I'm tracking the protein that I'm getting. And if I'm, maybe haven't been having the best nutrient sources, like, okay, I want to try tomorrow to make sure that I'm prioritizing protein, making sure I'm getting my protein in at breakfast, things like that. It does really make a difference. Before I was tracking it, I was definitely getting a lot less protein than my body needed. So highly recommend looking into that if you have not. The third micro habit is not drinking coffee on an empty stomach. I'm usually pretty good at this. But when it comes to the Christmas season, the temptation to just like get a Starbucks holiday drink or just like have a fun Christmas coffee in the morning is high. So I really want to make sure that I'm being aware of not having a coffee on an empty stomach. For me, when I have coffee on an empty stomach, it just like creates anxiety with me. I get really jittery. I feel anxious. And I know that that's just like not how I want my body to feel. So I'm going to make sure that I have for sure some water and then have a breakfast or like at least something to eat before I have a coffee. Okay, another micro habit is bringing my skincare to the gym. So I want to make sure that I'm going to the gym, whatever, but the micro habit is I'm bringing my skincare with me. This has enhanced my gym experience so much. There's childcare at our gym, so our son goes to childcare, and so like, why not take an extra 5 minutes of like kid-free time for me to apply my skincare? Make sure, this is another little micro habit, little pro tip. Make sure that if you've just worked out, that you come into the bathroom and that you wash your hands, because this is something that I was forgetting about. It's just like how many machines I touch, and then I went to do my skincare and I was like, this is probably like reversing the effects of my skincare if I'm like taking my hands that just touched everything sweaty and gross in my gym and then putting it on my face. So make sure you wash your hands first, then take a moment, do your skincare. It feels so good after working out to like moisturize and like do all the things. So highly recommend, especially if you're a fellow mom and you have child minding at your gym. Okay, my fifth thing, this is something new that I just not like learned about, but I just like guess I figured out that I could purchase it, which is body oil. And I am a eczema prone dry skin girl, and in the winter it can be easy for me to, this is a constant pattern, because my skin is so bad, it can be easy for me to just be like, you know what, my skin's naturally not good, so I'm just like gonna not take care of it because it doesn't matter anyways. Like whatever I do isn't gonna bring it to full, it's not gonna be perfect, so like whatever. But no, it doesn't have to be perfect. We can still take care of it. We can still do our best to maintain it. One struggle point for me is when I shower, when I get out of the shower. I live in a really dry city and the water is like really harsh and really dry. And so what will happen in the winter is I'll get out of the shower and I'm like so already like itchy and my skin's dry and like, oh my gosh, I feel itchy just thinking about it. And moisturizer just never, like it just doesn't go on super well when your skin's wet. But body oil goes on so smooth, even if your skin is a little bit still damp. So I will literally get out of the shower, I apply the body oil. It feels and smells like so luxurious too. It's not even that expensive. I will link the one that I got. I think it's like just Neutrogena or something like that. And it's like pretty clean ingredients. And I was shocked by it, and it has changed my life. It goes on really well, and it just makes me feel confident and better. I will also apply this, like I had a photo shoot today and I applied it just a little bit on my skin beforehand. And even if you don't have like, even if your skin's just like normal dry, even if you don't have eczema, it still just makes your skin look so nice, especially for the winter. And it's just a little habit that I've gotten into, doing it after my shower, that makes me feel like I'm taking care of myself and that my skin is not just like falling off. So it's a win for me. The 6th micro habit is taking a vitamin D supplement. This just sounds so small and just like, oh yeah, take some vitamins. But if you live somewhere where you do not have a lot of sun through the winter, you like basically go from having like so much vitamin D to none. And so taking a vitamin D supplement can really help. Obviously, consult with your doctor, blah, 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 blah. But overall, taking vitamin D is just something so small. It doesn't feel like I'm doing that much, but I do think it really has a big effect. And so being consistent with that through the end of the year, as we lead into like January, when I'm more prone to feeling kind of down after the holiday season, that's something that's important to me. And I think that it's a good habit to get into now, because, even if you're feeling good now, you want to think about your future self and be showing up for her. So if you can start taking like vitamins and supplements that are going to support your mental health now, they will have a more long-term effect as we lead into 2025. The 7th thing, which I guess I could have paired kind of maybe with my protein thing, is planning out my meals for the day before. So I am not a meal plan girly where like I plan out what I'm eating each day like the week in advance. Like I'm not, I've aspired to be that person, and maybe one day I will get my life together enough that I do that. But I don't like sit down at the beginning of the week and be like, okay, on Monday we're having this, on Tuesday we're having this. Like I will plan out like a few meals and I'll kind of pull from them. If you want more, like I could maybe do an episode on like how I plan my meals. But for the end of this year, what I have been doing is the night before, looking through my fridge, assessing what we've got, and making a plan for the next day. There is nothing more that I hate than getting to like, especially on a busy day, like getting to 4 p.m. and feeling so hungry and so like I've made so many decisions already for the day that I just feel like spent, and then having to try to think of like, oh my gosh, what should I make for dinner? Like that just feels like so difficult, and the temptation for me at that point to be like, let's just go out for dinner is so high. And so we're trying to stick to a budget this year. We're trying to not eat out as often as possible. Like we're trying to really eat from home and use up all our groceries that we're buying and all the things. So when I can look at our fridge and be like, especially at the like before the day's begun, and be like, okay, we're gonna have a breakfast sandwich for breakfast. We're going to just do like a sandwich for lunch, and then we're gonna have this for dinner. If I can do that the night before, my day will go so much more smoothly. And it just seems, again, all these things, they seem like such small little things, but it's really these small decisions that can help our future self so much. I'm always so grateful when I've thought ahead to be like, oh yeah, okay, I know what I'm making. I don't have to make a decision when I wake up in the morning. I just go and start making my breakfast sandwich. And then when I get home and I've been running around and it's 4 p.m., I don't have to look at my fridge and be like, what should I make? Because I've already done that the night before. I can just start cooking. And because often for me, like the cooking part is not the hard part. The hard part is the decision-making part. Those are my habits for you today. I hope that there's something that you can take away from this. I hope that this week, even amidst, if you're feeling already like, you're ready for the fresh start of January, you're ready for kind of the chaos to be over, or maybe you just want Christmas to last forever. You want to just like throw away all of your habits and routines, and you just want to indulge and, just be in your lazy girl era. I just encourage you to take some time over the next couple days to just think about what are some small ways that you can show up for yourself in this month, even if you're not like I'm not saying, especially for the end of the year, like, especially if you're traveling or like you're at home with your family, like, this is not the best time probably to start a whole new routine. This is not the best time to be like, I'm going to start a entire new morning routine. I'm going to start a whole new evening routine. I'm going to start meal planning. Like, honestly, this is probably not the best time to just like rehaul your entire life. It's probably not going to feel the most natural for you. But what you can do, and what I really just like encourage you to do, is just to think of ways that you can show up for yourself, and just like we've talked about before, that like 1%, like how can you show up for yourself tomorrow 1% better than you did yesterday? Like, what can you do for yourself this holiday season that you didn't do last year that's going to make it go a lot more smoothly? All these little, today I wanted to just share kind of like these smaller examples to just show you that it can be attainable to take care of yourself without it having to be this like intense, structured, all day, everyday thing. You can just weave these little habits into your daily life that are going to overall help your future self and help you to be able to show up for yourself in the little things. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you're on YouTube, I would love to know if you're going to implement any of these habits, or if there's anything else that you can share that maybe you do that's a little micro habit in your life that would be encouraging to other people. Or you can just leave me a little emoji so I know that you listened to this episode. If you're on Spotify or Apple, I would love if you could leave me a rating and review. It means so much, and it just helps get the show out to more people. Thank you guys seriously so much for being here. Again, I think we're going to be starting vlogmas soon, so watch out for that. I'll be posting about it on Instagram as well, so you can follow along on there. Make sure you tune in next week for another episode of Hot Mess Habits, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We'll chat with you guys later.